So I got back from seeing Together, starring Dave Franco and Allison Brie, written and directed by Michael something something. I'm sorry. Okay, let's just get this over and done with, because the less I have to think about this movie, the fucking better. Okay, so I give it like a 7.5 out of 10, maybe an 8 if like I'm really into it. But Together is the most unoriginal original horror movie that I have seen in the last couple of years. Um, and what I mean by that is this movie has an amazingly original concept and has some truly original and unique takes on horror, as well as gory scenes that I have yet to see. Well, that's not true. It does reminisce of certain situations and certain themes like The Thing, but it's done in a recontextualized sort of situation, and thus is sort of reinvented and new. However, this movie is bogged down by some truly weird choices. Weird creative choices, some truly cheesy dialogue, and some pretty wonky pacing. So the good first, the horror, the body horror, the gore, as well as the actual relationship between Dave and Allison's character is done phenomenally. I actually do think that a movie like this could not have worked if the two main characters were not married, or at least in a relationship in real life, because there's a lot of nuances and a lot of things, subtleties that you only can kind of pinpoint and see and understand if you're in a relationship, or at least a very long committed relationship. Um, and on top of that, they just do so well. And what's really weird is that Alison Brie, the more I look at her, the more she's turning into Kristen Wiig. And by the way, I mean that in like an actual good way. The two of them now look more alike, and she and both of them have just amazing acting capabilities, but they look so alike now to the point where part of me was thinking they should do a movie together. Like they should play sisters or something like that. Either way, point being, I'm putting that aside. But there's a lot of nuances in their relationships, and there's a lot of, little subtleties that I very much picked up on and liked. This movie I think, could be considered as a romantic horror. Because this is a romance movie with a lot of horror elements. There are some truly unique camera setups and a lot of really fucking gross practical effects that will literally leave you going, ugh. And for the most part, the writing is good. But overall, there's a lot of tropes, weird jump scares, you know. And I will say this though, there is a plot twist that happens near the end, and you don't see it coming. That's at least kind of cool. That's nice. But overall, I will say this: it there's a lot that I can critique about this movie. There's a lot that I can praise about this movie. There's there's so much to interpret from this movie, and honestly, that's why I think you should try to go into this blind. I didn't even I anytime the trailer for this movie popped up, I just kind of ignored it. It just I knew I was eventually going to see it. I figured as much. I have friends that usually drag me to movies, and I'm just like, screw it. I'm going to see something anyway. Why watch a trailer? So going into this movie blind is definitely going to be a very, very good thing for you to do. And this movie, like I said, is a romantic horror. It's romance first. And it has a lot of interpretations that one could pull from this. It doesn't it does try to say a couple things blatantly, but it can also be interpreted in a multitude of different ways. For all this movie's flaws and the ridiculously cheesy dialogue and even a couple weird moments where they basically stop the horror to talk, there are so many ways to interpret the message of this movie. Seriously, a lot of very intelligent and also very, you know, not deceptive. That's not the right word. Introspective. Whatever. Point being is that depending on who you are as a person, you will find a lot to take away from. Sorry, that's not the right word. Sorry. This movie, I literally got out of this movie and it's fucking with my head. Oh yeah, that's why I gave it the 0.5 because it sticks with you. Like I said, there are some fucked up gore scenes. Not gory as in like grotesque, but sorry, not gory as in like, oh god, there's blood and gore everywhere. Like gory as in like there are truly horrific things that happen in this movie, and it is just wrong. It is wrong in a good way, obviously. But overall, I would highly recommend you go see Together. I can't necessarily say it's good to take your girl to see it, or your man. That's like I said, this movie, there's a lot to take away from. And I can see this movie definitely leading to breakups, weird marriage proposals, or just initiating talks. Like I said, this movie does have that subtlety and nuance to it that, for a horror movie, you really wouldn't expect. Despite the very outlandish, subtle, besides the blatant openness of certain scenes, there's a lot to be pulled away from this. But overall, that's that's basically my takeaway from Together. Sorry that my brain is all jumbled and I wasn't able to actually give a good descriptive review of this thing, but that's just how much it impacted me. I saw this in a crowded theater and it was well worth a watch. I highly recommend you go see this as soon as you can. Ugh.